What's up, Closeteers? Welcome to episode number 30. Stamp Podcast their show is almost as old as I am. Well, not really, but you get my drift. Number-wise. It's all about numbers, but I'm not a numerologist. Fuck that. I'm not into superstitious bullshit. What I am into, apparently, is reviewing things. It's not where I thought I'd be in life, but, here I am. The first thing I'm going to review right now is pre-roll, endos. Cannabis pre-roll. 1 gram. Soul Assassin Hybrid. And it's even got a little bit of CBD in this one, too, so. Comes in this nice, whatchamacallit. This was top shelf, as the girl at the head shop called it. And it looks top shelf too. It's got a nice cover. If I open this thing up, we got a glass tube. Actual glass too, not plastic. I can actually save this for, something else. Well, here, I'll give you guys a closer view. Endos. Let's check them out, I guess. And it's even a child seal too, so like if I just sit here and spin the cap, nothing happens. Got to press down like a bunch of pills. Oh, that smells good. So, I'm actually gonna turn my fan off there. Get this out of the way. I don't want to sneeze when I'm lighting stuff up, but okay. Almost lost a piece of something there. I haven't had a pre-roll in a while. Ooh, a little dry. Fuck. Woo! Amateur hour. Fuck. One more for the one more for good luck. Much better. That's nice. It's not as pungent as other ones that I've had before. So that's not the only thing I'm going to review today. Well, I also have yet another Tav Hour entry. This time coming from Cypress Brewing Company out of Edison, New Jersey. This is brewed with Mosaic. That's BUR''D for those of you listening. It's a pale ale brewed with Mosaic and Brew One hops. This guy's a pint, and it's only 5 ounces, so it's not gonna, do any real damage, so to speak. Oh shit! Might damage my pants though. That is a foamy motherfucker. As always, Valhalla Vineyards drinking horn. Let's get that pour in. Not my best pour, but it could be worse. I think I've never actually seen pale ale get poured, and now I know why they call it pale ale. It's should have been obvious to me, I guess. So So anyways, we'll let that the foam die down on this one a little bit. In the meantime, let's see. Another little dose for myself. Some personal medicine. Again, disclaimer, I live in California, so this is perfectly fine. So don't go complaining, don't go bitching at me. Like, oh, he's delinquent or whatever. I'm too old to be a delinquent, first of all. I think once you're like out of your 20s, like you're too old to be a delinquent, right? I'm in my 30s now, which would make me a miscreant. It's completely different categories. I would say in mine there's more unlocks. Would be one way to put it. Okay. What do you say we should try this stuff? Cheers. That's not bad. I like it. It's like I said, it's a pale ale. A bit foamy. And it's not that it only has like a little tang of bitterness, just a little bit of hops. Because I'm not normally a fan of like IPAs, which are, well, a lot hoppier than pale ales to begin with. But for a pale ale, this is a pretty as well. Professional, inexperienced guess, I guess, if you could say. Whatever. I like it. That's all that matters. Now, third and final review. We got another section of cdhaul coming up for you. This is a little bit overdue because I've actually had these in my collection for a few weeks now. But, you know, when something's good, I tend to leave it in my car for a while. So my first one is the newest album from Deftones. Deftones. I've liked... I've been a fan of Deftones since I was a freshman in high school. So if I was 18 in my senior year, since I was 14. And I'm 34 now, so 20 years now. And by then they'd already had a couple albums out by then, so yeah, it was just 2 albums. Anyways, so Deftones is if you don't know, well, you're living under a rock, but they are a big band from Sacramento out here, which is well, it's not anywhere near me, but it's in the same state. And I like they were one of my first introductions into kind of like the harder metal, right? I can't say my first because I've shit. You know what? I'll be honest. I don't really remember, but because I've also been a big fan of, you know, bands like Korn and Slipknot, and then also some thrash stuff like Metallica, like everybody else. Was actually my first introduction, and I got into a lot of like the new metal stuff, and I'm still a fan, honestly. But Deftones for me was distinct because this is a good story. I discovered them. We had Now, also, I should note that my my freshman year was when 9/11 happened, and the story of when I found out about 9/11 and when I found out about deftones occurred in this exact same room in my high school science class, beginning science. I think this was actually the same week too, because, or no, because that would have been the second week of September, which is, and most schools usually start within the last week of August, so it's a little bit further. But sometime at the beginning of class, I had this guy I went to school with. His name was Nathan, but everybody called him Blinky, because he was one of the ones that had like the double focus, like inch thick glasses, because he was legally blind, and so within like the first week of class, he was also the kid who would have his headphones on, and this was before headphones were cool. Or even, like, CDs were really a thing. But he would have his headphones on, and he was all just, like, jamming out something in the back. And I remember, like, he would just have them on during class, like, even during lectures, or something like that. And not because he was, like, trying to tune out the teacher, but he would literally, as he was going, to and from class, he'd have his headphones on. That's just this thing to get ready for the next period of the day. But obviously, I think it was more in his case, like he would sit down, he'd still be listening to music, and he just wouldn't hear when class would start. But it was literally just a week straight of, our instructor would start talking, and again, this was in my science class, and then she would have to go to the back and be like, hey man, take your headphones off. And it was loud enough. So these were the, not the over-ear headphones, but like the in-ear or on-ear headphones. So they had kind of like that, it would just end in like a foam pad. And, they had the metal headband, those old shitty ones. He had something like that. And he would have his music on loud enough that I could hear it from like, I was 2 lab tables down. It was too loud. I don't know. I guess he probably couldn't. Now he must not have been able to hear that well either. I guess blind and deaf. But I could hear the tunes. But I didn't know what the band was at all. So I remember after a week, like, she finally just told him like, hey, just please take your headphones off when you come into the class. And Blakey was, of course, like, oh yeah, sure, I'm sorry. It's a good guy. And then, like, the next week, I think they put it over the announcements, like, no headphones allowed within this. Headphones cannot be worn inside the school. So I'm pretty sure that this guy, Blinky, caused there to be no headphones. And what I found out later, when I first started watching MTV, like not soon after, was that I had also discovered that he was listening to deftones. That was back when their second album, Around the Fur, came out. And, for me, it was like, oh, well, they must be pretty cool. They seem pretty cool, making a kid almost miss class. And it turns out I was right, and I've been having a bubble in my throat ever since. No, I've been hooked on ever since. So that's my discovery story with deftones. But I've also been lucky enough to see them a couple of times, although it's been a while. So let's see, freshman year of college would have been 2000, or not college, high school would have been 2002, I want to say, is when this happened. And then I moved out here in 2011 to Los Angeles. And then I saw them the following year, in 2012, here at what used to be the old I want to say Impact. Yeah, Impact Fest, I believe it was called. The festival they had at the what used to be the Verizon Amphitheater, now the 5 Points, down in Irvine. It's down in Orange County. I got to see them there. It was my first big, like, actual festival concert. So that was a good time. I very much enjoyed them. And then I also saw, the next time I saw them was at the old Amoeba Records here in Hollywood, when their album before this, for like the release, I remember having to stand in line to get a ticket the day before, and it was like an early release of their album. So you basically bought the album and got a ticket to go in for the live show, and then the next day they had their show there inside the CD store and everything, and all of the crowd was lined up in the between the aisles of records and stuff. So that was pretty cool. My only thing is I wasn't that big of a fan of their the album previous to this, but I mean it was still really good. It just wasn't quite it for me. But this album rocks. Alms is amazing. And I sounded like a fucking white girl there. A little waspy bitch. I'll try not to do that again, guys, but getting lost in my own thoughts already, which is apparently the sign of a genius. Whenever you can supposedly think faster than your tongue. Anyways, yeah, like it's still a good album. That's what I was saying. And well, oh no, this one is a great album. So go check it out. Do I have any more Deftones stories? No, I do not. I do have a second album though. This album's a little different, or this band's a little different. It is the album Endarkenment by Anaalnathrakh. They are more of the extreme metal types. And if you were wondering, did I just see an album cover with a pig's head with dicks coming out of its eyes? Yes, you did. That's the album that they chose for it. And in fact, they have a... This album is actually more of like a... whatchamacallit? Like a social observation piece, would be the word to put it. So to support... the reason that they have this as a cover is one of their songs is literally a pig with cocks in its eyes. And which you might think like, oh, what's that? That's like some occult shit, right? Well, maybe, depending on what you leave. But they also include notes with all the song lyrics pages. And so basically the idea behind the cover is that it's is the way that like sensational news and stuff like that affects us. Like it's kind of like visual masturbation to see just shocking things, to the point where we're basically just like, you know, some disgusting fucking pig just jacking off our eyeballs, and that's a pig with cocks in its eyes. That's where the cover comes from, and the song comes from, and it's pretty fitting. Like I said, social observation. We're just pigs with cocks in their eyes, where they're not supposed to go. They have their own place. Anyways, as far as how I actually discovered these guys, that was thanks to listening to SiriusXM. They came up on a user request. I usually listen to the liquid metal channel they got on there, and they not so much now, but they used to do like listener takeovers and stuff. You know what? Actually, I think I know why they don't do that more now, because they've been having, in this year with like everything being shut down here, they've been having more like artist takeovers. So that they can actually have like some of the artists that they like and have a rapport with come in and be like, I'm taking over for the next hour. Up next, shit like that. But no, I heard of Anaalnathrakh through through a listener takeover, and they would get like 3 songs and then kind of explain why it's important to them or whatever. And this was just one of them, and I just decided to look them up, and it went from there. I like a good extreme metal band that, has their shit put together. Anyways, that is all the albums that I guys for that. I'll have some more later. I already have some more on the way. Damn it. Give me a second, guys. Had to keep it going. I don't want to waste this one this time. You know what I mean? So now to talk about what I've been watching. So I saw a few good things recently. I started and watched through what currently is of the Cobrakai show, which is, as you should know, is like a continuation of the old Karate Kid movies, and even starring the same actors too. Like they have Ralph Macchio is playing what's his face, Daniel San, and they got Will Zabka, who's kind of like the main character. He's back playing Johnny Lawrence, who was the nemesis or the rival or whatever. However, I'm not going to bother talking any more about that show because it's already been covered in a million other places. Another thing that I watched, which I think I mentioned once earlier in the show about like superhero movies coming up, was Project Power on Netflix, which is starring Jamie Foxx, of all people. Not that that's a bad thing. Just is what it is. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in it too. And they, it's basically about, oh shit. A weapon / drug, like a pill or something, that people would take and they would gain a power for 5 minutes. Or if it was a bad mix, they would just explode. And it was a superhero movie. And but what's interesting about this movie is that it takes place in New Orleans, which is not, which is whenever you think about like a movie that takes place in a city of some sort, it's usually L.A. or New York or San Francisco or something like that. And whereas New Orleans culture and city and people and all that stuff is something that's not normally represented in Hollywood. So that was one thing that stood out to me in my, fucking what are politically correct people doing analytical mind. But it was cool. They tried to bring light into a different community into Hollywood. But anyways, the movie was pretty cool too. You know, this is already kicking in, so I can't really tell you that much. But and then today I decided to start rewatching Penny Dreadful, that show. Which is literally just about like the occult and stuff, and it's a bunch of people with different ties too, kind of fight evil. It's set in the 1800s. You know what? Honestly, I can't even explain it anymore. Yeah, maybe I'll try again later. How about that? Yeah. Okay, so as I was trying to explain earlier, the show that I started watching again was Penny Dreadful. Still smells from the last time. Yeah, the show Penny Dreadful, which is it's had 3 seasons now. It was originally on, I want to say it was either ABC or FX. But so basically what it's about like occult stuff. And there's all the different characters have something occult related. So you have your main guy who, you know what? I should pull up their actual IMDb. But anyways, so I've already seen the first seasons, but I'm starting over because that was a while ago. And back when I did before, the 3rd season wasn't actually on. They didn't have it up on Netflix yet, and so now they do. So now I got to go back and rewatch everything. If I can, what the fuck? Oh, there's the search. Okay, Penny Dreadful, and the name comes from apparently they used to do whatchamacallit, Penny Dreadfuls were like little horror books that they used to have in like the 1800s England and such, because they were just a penny. It was like a pamphlet, and it was like entertainment, you know, because they didn't have shit like podcasts and stuff like that back then. Here we go. Also, part of the reason that I wanted to watch it again is because they have a they made like a new Penny Dreadful, but it's more like old Hollywood, Los Angeles. Just, you know, be interesting. This show was canceled like after its 3rd season. I don't know why. It'd be nice if it wasn't, but anyways. So the cast is as follows. Timothy Dalton is Sir Malcolm Murray. He is... I'm not going to look up pictures this time or anything like that and put them up for you. You guys can do your own work. It's also later in the week, so I'm not going to do that. But anyways, he's basically like the... He's an old money type of guy who he doesn't have like anything special on his own, but he's dealt with occult shit. He's a good guy. Josh Hartnett, one of his last major acting roles, he played he plays a guy who, he's an American, he's kind of a bum, but he also turns out to be a werewolf, which you find out more of that later on in the 2nd season. Now again, I haven't seen the 3rd season. I literally have no idea what it's about. I will later, eventually. Oh, let's see then. Eva Green plays a lady who is essentially being hunted by the devil. And she was also a witch at one point, which again you find out in the 2nd season. And then they have a guy plays Dorian Gray in the movie. There is a quote-unquote Frankenstein. They do have a guy who plays Dr. Frankenstein. He's one of the main characters as well. They have a lady who is the bride of Frankenstein. It's brought back from the dead. Let's see. And then mostly just other side characters. And yeah, it's pretty cool, and it covers a lot of cool stuff if you're into occult stuff. So I know the first season they end up fighting vampires in London, and to find Sir Malcolm's daughter, who, well, spoiler alerts, also ends up being a vampire, and they basically have to kill her. You know, sad. In the second season, they deal they get into more like things about the actual characters and their past, and they have to fight because they end up fighting a witch coven, and it nearly tears them apart and kills them. Like a lot of their shit, like their past shit from their past, gets dredged up, yada yada yada. You know how it is. And then, like I said, the third season, I have no idea what it's about. So, let's see, something I did want to show off. I just bought a new bowl for my, whatchamacallit, my pipe. And, this thing's pretty cool because it is literally the shape of it's a Ninja Turtle's head. And it's really deep, too. This one's a lot deeper than a normal bowl's. However, the fucking end is too big. Doesn't fit mine. So now I gotta get a new water bong. But, you know, that's fine. That's just the way life goes, I guess. What I will do now is we'll get into a little bit of post-apocalypse for you guys. I'll just do a couple with y'all. Alright, here we go. First one. Bar owner who hosted Donald Trump Jr. is now in ICU with COVID and wants to punch the president. I'm sure that last part is just kind of a throw-in, but this happened after, it came out that pretty much like a lot of the Republican staff contracted COVID after they had that rally or whatever outside of the White House, I think it was. So, karma, but hurts other people too, though. Next up. This is fun old Hollywood shit. Lurid old Hollywood tales lurk within these Palm Springs homes. The first one's JFK and Marilyn Monroe. Stay at a house out in Palm Springs for a little while. Or no, it was Bing Crosby's home. Supposedly, allegedly. So go look that up if you want to find out some shit about old Hollywood. Last but not, this will be the last one. Lawyers say they can't find the parents of 545 migrant children separated by Trump administration. Now, I'm not a fan of Trump at all, but from what I understand, from what I found out later since I've seen this article, it's a little bit misleading. So apparently, what they've done is, these kids. So this is a small amount of children. Apparently, this number is like a small amount of the actual kids that they had in custody. And most of them, they were able to, I guess, find their actual parents who had already been deported and give them back. But these are all kids who either they couldn't find the parents or the kids didn't take them back. Like at all. And also, which is its own thing, And also, apparently, there's a lot of situations where a lot of kids didn't actually come over with their parents. They were brought through by a, like with a smuggler or something like that, who was paid to take the kids through to the U.S. and to wherever. So, it is kind of a misleading article. As much as you want the Trump administration to fail, like, at least it's got to be at least in the right way. You know what I mean? So, anyway, that's gonna do it for the show this week. Thanks again, episode 30. Like this, please like and subscribe to my channel on. Oh, fuck. Sorry, I just ate and had a couple drinks, too. Check out Multi-Murdy Media here on YouTube and also on Instagram. Check out my all my links page for this podcast, as well as links to my Twitch and, again, to my YouTube here. To all links that my podcasts are in. And also check out my other playlists on this channel. The Punch, which is my hobby channel, or hobby stream. And Gutsy Ass Gamer, which is my video game / Twitch stream. And yeah, and there we play, I play Fallout, and the goal is to finally beat this damn game in survival mode, which is the hardest mode of the game. So, we'll see. And plus, I'm in survival mode right now. So is everybody else. Anyways, I hope you get through your own hard mode, or whatever. And I will see you guys all next week.